We are on week number 4. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to Happy Healthy Whole with Sharia. I'm Sharia. We are on week number 4, which is marketing and visibility and attracting the right clients. This is our last one for this particular series. We've already talked about a strong foundation, creating a sustainable model, and developing a CEO business owner mindset. It is time now to think about what is your marketing and visibility. If clients can't find you, they can't work with you. That is what I tell most of the people that I coach, regardless of if they are a therapist, a coach, or a consultant. If clients can't find you, they can't work with you. Let's talk about the importance of building a brand using social media and positioning yourself as the go-to expert in your area. Branding and positioning. Your branding just isn't just your logo. It's an experience people have with you and your online visibility. So it's about asking yourself 3 things. How do I want clients to feel when they engage with me? What is the message do I consistently share? And what makes me different from other therapists? This sounds very similar to knowing your niche, knowing, right? But this is going to be really setting your brand into motion, because what you're doing by asking that question or asking these questions is that you're preparing yourself to be beyond just the logo or beyond the color scheme that you may go with, and starting to really think about how people will engage with you, how clients will engage with you, what message you want to consistently share, and what makes it different from other therapists. And so I spoke the first week about my why and my niche. And so an example of how do I want clients to feel when they engage with me? I want them to feel seen as Black women. I want them to know that their voice matters. I want them to know that they can recover from any form of trauma that they may have to navigate and or have to deal with within their workplaces. I want them to know that there is someone who sees them, hears them, and wants them well. And so that's the feeling I want when they're engaging with me, to feel those things where I can heal, I can do this with some support, and I am not ashamed to ask for that help, right? I want them to feel like when they are being seen, there's nothing that they can't do. What message do I consistently share when it comes to, I'm going to specifically stick with my my message to on my outpatient for that purpose of saying clear, because I'm not going to talk about how I ran for all 3 of my services differently. Anyway, because you see that here on this channel. Anyway, what I am really saying, my consistent message to Black women is voice matters, mental health matters, your family matters, your impact matters, and your care matters, right? What message do I consistently say? Honestly, my message is that unresolved trauma and unresolved experiences that have impacted us will continue to impact our relationships, connections, and our ability to heal. And so, for us to be able to heal, we have to address those things, because it allows us to have our voice, to know we matter, and to feel connected to our community. And so, my message is consistently that unresolved trauma impacts your life. And then I give you different ways of how to see that. And that specifically might be racial trauma, workplace trauma, family trauma. It can be a number of different traumas, but I'm clear on unresolved being the thing or the theme that I'm working with. And then what makes me different from other therapists? My unique approach is being able to incorporate my clinical skills with the culture and identity of those who I work with. And how I do that is about expressing to them empathy for their current problems, pain points, whatever you want to call it, while at the same time exploring their resilience, their strength, and acknowledging that they can do this. And so that's the first 3 questions. How do I want my clients to feel when they engage with me? What messages do I consistently share, and what makes me different from our other therapists? The next thing is that this helps to make it clear for my client to be able to build trust and to work with me faster. Using social media is going to be our next session. Or our next section. It's really about being intentional. I told you in one of the videos, if not for this, but for emotional health, about how important it is for me not to be on social media too much. But what that means is that I need to make sure that I am clear on what I'm there to do. And so for me, it's being able to think about picking a platform where your ideal client shows up and being present there in a way that does one of these 3 things: educate, engage, authenticity. And so actually all three of them, right? So educate, break down mental health concepts so that your clientele can hear themselves in the examples. Engagement, share or start conversations, answer questions, talk to them about what other people are doing in recovery around and or healing around these areas of unresolved trauma, as my example earlier. And then be authentic to yourself. No one is perfect. Be who you are and acknowledge that authenticity also includes that you have a professional self within your work, right? That means that you know what are boundary breaking and or not appropriate related to the social media world, but you are also human enough to share honest stories around your work, the help you've done, or the help you've given to clients in the past without identifying who they are, right? So share in a way that is expressing that you hear and see your clients while at the same time being real to your area of expertise and your ability to address their concerns with your unique approach. The last thing and not most important, all of these are very important, but another element that is extremely important is building referral networks and community. Networking is key. Partnering with people will grow your practice. Doctors, educators, attorneys, other therapists from cross referrals. So there's things that I am not an expert in. And so I refer them to other therapists who may consider that their area of expertise. Local organizations that align with your specific niche. So for myself, I'm usually not right now because we are actually moving out of outpatient, but that's another story for another time, or not fully moving out, adjusting and adapting. One of the things that I particularly did because I was working with high achieving Black women was that I created and or got a relationship with Jack and Jill organizations in my local area. So understanding what were my surrounding three counties and what were they going to be, who was the current president at the time and or chapter lead so that I can get a conversation, an email, or something out to them that allow them to know that I'm here, I see them, and I hope that I'm able to service them and their families. And so for me, this became extremely important at the beginning of my practice before I got paneled. And when I started my practice, Headway and all these other things weren't even there. And so it was really important for me to be able to maintain some self-pay before I went into taking insurance. And how I did that was creating relationships with the right referrals. And I use that example of Jack and Jill as a connection to who my niche is and understanding would they be able to afford, in most cases, afford paying out of pocket and getting reimbursed by their insurance companies. And so that became my beginning of my networking, and also partnering with agencies was another way. I believe that the doctors in my local area, usually once a year, I remind them we're here. I send out a letter, a connection to what areas we serve and how it can help support all forms of illness and or mental health and or emotional health for their clients as they're on journeys with their healing. And so what I'm saying to you is that when you are thinking about your marketing and your visibility, you have to think about branding and positioning, your social media being intentional, and your business having a constant referral network and community. All of these three factors are going to help you to sustain a practice that allows for you to grow and scale. Your challenge for this week is to create a content plan or reach out to one potential referral partner. This is just the beginning, and I hope that you are able to stay consistent as you are thinking about growing your practice. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our channel and share for those who may benefit from some of this information. Y'all take good care of yourselves. Be well.